Hello, you guys. Good morning. Welcome back. My name is Kimberly Lewis, and I am the host of the page Woman on Fire. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys again. We are starting Genesis chapter 8 today. Normally, I do lives on Facebook. My name is Kimberly Lewis on Facebook, and I'll leave those videos up for 30 days. But this is a different ministry page, so I do try to come here and make sure you guys get what y'all need. I just want y'all to know that we are walking through Genesis together, that it does not have to be hard. I don't even know half of the words that are in here sometimes, but it don't matter because all you got to do is put this word in your bosom, and the Lord will take it away for you. He'll let stuff manifest with that. Okay, He can use that. So we're gonna dive right in. We're on Genesis chapter 8. Okay, it says, "But God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the livestock that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided." So God made a wind and blew, and it started to decrease the waters in the land, right? And then it says, the fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed. The rain from the heavens was restrained. So God started to like close the rainfalls from heaven, because we know that anything that's on earth comes from heaven. God told us that, right? He said everything that's here, the sunlight, every light, everything, it comes from heaven. So He opened up heaven to let the rain down, and then He closed up heaven when it was time for it to stop raining. Okay, and then He got the fountains at the bottom of the sea that most of us ain't even been able to explore because it's too deep, right? And it's unhealthy for us to be at that capacity. It'll start to give us internal damage because of how much pressure is built up under there. But He said He opened that up and then He closed it, right? So in verse 3, it says, "And the waters receded from earth continuously." Recede means to pull back, dry up. He pulled it back, right? And then it says, at the end of 150 days, the waters had abated. So they had stopped. They had continued to recess, right? Now, I looked up 150 days. I calculated this, y'all. This is like 5 months. So for all of those people who love the beach all year long, I know y'all ain't in that water for 150 days in a row. I bet that'll be too much. Okay. So yeah, it says, "And in the seventh month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountain of Ararat." Ararat. Some of the names in here are so different, y'all. So y'all will see me stumble over them, but I will not give up on them, okay? So it says in verse 5, "And the water continued to abate until the 10th month." So 3 months in, further in, you see the waters start to dry up to the point where you're going to start to see the mountaintops, okay? So it says, "And the water continued to abate until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen." Remember, He flooded it so bad that if you look down, you couldn't even see the top of the mountains. That's how bad He flooded the earth, because He was making sure don't nothing. If you in a cave, you're not coming out of that cave. If you are on the tops of mountains, you have nowhere to go but underneath this water, because we have hurt Him so bad that He regretted that He made us, that He created His human beings that were just made in His image and in His likeness. So He was like, I've had enough. Y'all flesh is sinful continuously. So that's the mind of His people. And He couldn't believe that, because He is all knowing and all good, y'all. To see us fall under sin's grasp, under sin's instruction, that hurt Him. So He was like, I regret that I made human. I gotta wash. I regret that I made all these things. I gotta wash you off the face of the earth and start over through Noah's lineage. Okay, so here we are, verse 6. "At the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent forth a raven. It went to and fro until the waters were dried up from the earth," right? "Then he set forth a dove from him." And I love the dove because it's the symbol of it's said to be a heavenly bird, right? And it's a clean animal. It's a clean bird because it eats of the vegetations of the like grass and things like that. It's not a carnivore. It's an herbivore. But the presence of a dove is sweet like Jesus, okay? And then it says in verse 8, then he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. But the dove found no place to set her foot, and she returned to him to the ark, for the waters were still on the face of the whole earth. So it was still flooded. So this bird didn't have any safe places to dwell, okay, or land to give them something that says, hey, all the waters have dried up and now we can go back outside of this ark. So he put out his hand and took her and brought her into the ark with him. He waited another 7 days. So now we are 3 months and 7 days in. And again, he set forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came back to him in the evening. So it didn't come back until the evening. He let him go in the morning. He didn't come back until the evening. And behold, in her mouth was a freshly plucked olive leaf. And I love that because we see that an olive branch is symbolism of a good friendship, of a covenant. And that's how God is. That's why he created the rainbow, because it was a covenant for his people, right? So this olive branch is an extension of friendship and the covenant with God. So Noah knew that the waters had subsided from the earth. Then he waited another 7 days. So now we're on 14 days and set forth the dove, and she did not return to him any more. So now she is legit out there living her life, because God has dried up this water enough where she can go out here and be what she was created to be, a dove flying in paradise and freedom, right? It says in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. It was dry, y'all. It finally was dry after 150 days being locked in this ark with just a window up top with all these smelly, beautiful animals, right? Because where they going at? Where you dumping this stuff at? How are you keeping it clean in here, you know? So this was a real trial for a faith for Noah's family, right? And it says, in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth had dried out. Then God said to Noah, go out from the ark, you and your wife and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you, all flesh, birds, animals, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, that they may swarm on the earth. Now, what I love about that is, he said, that so that they may swarm the earth, right? That means multiply, right? What I love about this is they were in this boat for so long, so many months, right? What was God's first promise, first instruction for his creations? To be fruitful and multiply. So we have to understand that did not stop because they were in this boat. It's a reason why he gathered 2 of each animal. It is so that they can reproduce. So not only did he make this ark and say gather them 2 by 2, but he never stopped and said, hey, by the way, y'all got to stop being fruitful and multiplying while y'all are in this trial. No, he said continue to be fruitful and multiply, right? Now, it says that they may swarm on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. Now he's saying on the earth, not the ark, but on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every bird, everything that moves on the earth went out by families from the ark. They went out by families. So now he's saying, now we do have families that just consist of a man and a woman, right? Or a male and a female. But on here, because he didn't say it like that in the beginning, this lets me know that they were still reproducing on the ark, because that was, he told us that's a commandment, be fruitful and multiply, right? And families meaning mother, father, and offspring, right? Not always, but I'm just saying in this context, female, male, and offspring. And in verse 20, it says, Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird and offered burnt offering on the altar. Now, when it says clean, it's a herbivore animal, an animal that grazes on the land and only eats the plants or vegetables or those type of things. And then those were unclean were carnivores, so they ate meat and things of that nature. So they were considered to be unclean. And then another thing that I love about this is he built an altar. Once we go through Genesis, you'll start to see, even with Abram or Abraham, you will see that he built altars to the Lord. That was significant for them. Like if you have a prayer room in your home, that's similar to an altar. That's a safe place that God can come and dwell with you. So you'll keep seeing altars, y'all. Altars are important. They establish a certain covenant with God, and he's able to rest there, okay? So that you always have that presence, okay? But it's to him, and you let your heart be open, and it's to him, okay? And it says, and when the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, y'all. Now, I ain't talking about no barbecue ribs, no baby backs. I'm not talking about that good seasoned chicken breast, okay, that salmon with asparagus. I'm not talking about that kind of aroma. But he seen that Noah's heart was so humbled by this experience and just being in his presence that it smelled good to him. Why? Because it was good in here, right? It was all good. It was very good, okay? So he said that, and when the Lord smelt the pleasing aroma, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse. But and here in my footprint, it says curse is the same as dishonor. So that's how he felt. That's how much he loved us. He didn't have to say dishonor, but that was his word of choice, right? So he will not dishonor the ground because of man, because you got to understand that the universe is breathing and living too. That came from our Father, that came from our Abba. So all this stuff we see, and we glorify the wind, the water, the trees. All this is living and breathing because God created it in space. All these planets, that is living, breathing God. Okay. He's the creator of that, okay? So he didn't think it was right to punish the earth for what man had done, okay? It says, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Now, he didn't say baby. He said youth. Why did he say youth and not infant? I'll tell you why. Because I don't believe you're born sinful. I believe that you fall into sin because we remember the earth was pure back in the day. The Garden of Eden, where the first men were created, was pure, right? We didn't have to worry. There was no sin at that time. We failed to sin, which is why we all, once we're born, can fall to sin. But you're not sinful when you're born. No baby knows how to sin, but they can learn to sin, right? Okay, so it says, neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done while the earth remains seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. So he let us know we will continue to have all four seasons. If you want to state what all four seasons, you will continue to see the seasons change. You will continue to see day and night, no matter what. He said, I will never stop doing that. That's a promise because he said it in his scripture, y'all. So that is the end of chapter 8. I hope you guys get something from it. I hope you guys really enjoy me reading Genesis with y'all, because it is hard to do it on your own. But if you can just muster up the strength to come on here and just get your word out the way, you have already conquered another day. I always say one apple keeps doctors away, but one chapter keeps demon at bay. They can't mess with you because you are walking with God when you read these scriptures, and you need to let it penetrate so that you can start to change and know exactly where your promises lie, okay? Because we are promise holders and we're allowed to have that, okay? He's letting you know it is okay. What I have for you is for you. So I thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Kimberly Lewis, and I am the host of the Woman on Fire page. And I thank you for joining me. Thanks. Bye.